The Dynasty of Shadows. In a land of endless sand and burning sun, one dynasty controls more than just a kingdom. They control the price of oil, the fate of alliances, and the silence of their critics. This is no ordinary royal family. The House of Saud wields power like a sword, sharp, ancient, and hidden behind gold and glass. But beneath the luxury jets, billion-dollar deals, and diplomatic smiles lies something darker. Betrayals within bloodlines, deals with enemies, secrets buried in desert graves. Welcome to Dynasty Chronicles. Today we expose the dynasty that built its empire on oil, religion, and absolute control. Chapter 1. The Forbidden Alliance. The House of Saud began not with thrones, but with a pact forged in fire. In 1744, Muhammad ibn Saud, a local tribal leader, joined forces with a puritanical preacher, Muhammad ibn Abd al-Wahhab. Together, they launched a holy mission to cleanse Islam of what Wahhab called corruptions and innovations. This was more than religion, it was power cloaked in piety. Wahhabism became the theological foundation. It called for strict, literalist interpretations of Islam and legitimized violent jihad against opponents. Ibn Saud gained religious legitimacy, and in return, Wahhabism gained swords and territory. This unlikely alliance gave birth to a movement that razed cities, toppled rival tribes, and executed Muslims deemed impure. It also set the precedent. Religion would be the mask, but raw political power would be the goal. Today, Wahhabism is still state ideology. It influences schools, laws, and punishments, including beheadings, amputations, and stonings. Few know that this alliance would later shape not only Saudi Arabia, but extremism across the Muslim world. Chapter 2. The Man Who United the Eye. Desert. By the late 1800s, the Saud family had lost power, but in 1902, a bold 26-year-old, Abdulaziz ibn Saud, recaptured their ancestral home, Riyadh. With nothing but tribal loyalty, tribal warfare, and relentless ambition, he launched a campaign to unify the Arabian Peninsula. It was a brutal journey. Rivals were massacred, towns were burned, and religious zeal fueled every conquest. Saud used both war and marriage. He wed 22 times and fathered over 45 sons. Every child was a political alliance. By 1932, he had created the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, a nation with no written constitution, no democracy, and no voice but his. But once again, the very warriors who had helped him rise, the Ikhwan, religious, zealots who demanded endless expansion, turned against him. When they attacked British forces and demanded more holy war, Ibn Saud responded not with compromise, but with slaughter. The Ikhwan were annihilated in the Battle of Sabila in 1929. Their defeat sent a chilling message. Power belongs to the throne, not to God's fanatics. Chapter 3. Black Gold and American Steel. The real turning point came in 1938, when oil was struck near Dhahran. Suddenly, the poorest kingdom on earth sat atop the largest oil reserve the world had ever seen. American. Companies quickly moved in. Aramco, the Arabian American Oil Company, was born. In 1945, as World War II ended, King Abdulaziz met U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt aboard the USS Quincy. They made a secret pact. Oil for protection. America would supply weapons, training, and military bases. The Saudis would guarantee oil flow, even in crisis. That pact endures today. Saudi Arabia is the top buyer of U.S. arms. Over $100 billion in deals. The U.S. has turned a blind eye to human rights abuses, censorship, and even murder. All in the name of oil stability. And Aramco, it's now the world's most valuable company. In 2019, it went public, briefly hitting a valuation of over $2 trillion. Saudi oil doesn't just power cars, it powers empires. Chapter 4. The Palace of Knives. With oil wealth came new dangers: greed, rivalry, and assassination. The Saudi royal family is massive, over 15,000 members, but only a few hundred hold true power. Succession is not hereditary from father to son, but passed between brothers, creating confusion, tension, and plots behind closed doors. In 1975, King Faisal, the architect of Saudi Arabia's modern economy, was shot in the head by his own nephew. The assassin said it was revenge for the death of his brother. Others believe he was manipulated by factions within the family who feared Faisal's reforms and growing independence from the West. Today, royal meetings happen in secret. Allegiances shift in whispers. Every prince is either an ally or a threat. Inside the palace, the real throne is not a chair. It's a target. Chapter 5. MBS. The Crown Prince of Control. Then came Mohammed bin Salman, MBS, a prince unlike any before him. In his 30s, MBS leapfrogged older uncles and cousins to become heir apparent. His rise was swift, calculated, and ruthless. In 2017, he launched a corruption crackdown. Over 400 of the kingdom's elite, including billionaire Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, were detained in the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. What happened inside is still unknown. Some were reportedly tortured. Others were forced to sign over assets. Estimates say over 100 billion was recovered. But it didn't end there. In 2018, journalist Jamal Khashoggi, a royal insider turned critic, entered the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. He was strangled, dismembered. His body was never found. Western intelligence agencies say it was a state-sanctioned hit, ordered by MBS. The Crown Prince denies it, but the world looked away, again, in favor of oil and investments. Chapter 6. The Kingdom of Wealth and Excess. The House of Saud lives in a world most can't imagine. Private 747 jets with gold-plated interiors. A $300 million French chateau with an underground nightclub and moat. A $450 million Da Vinci painting bought anonymously, then linked to MBS himself. Prince Al-Walid once bought an Airbus A380 and redesigned it with a prayer room, Turkish bath, and concert hall. Meanwhile, nearly 20% of Saudis live near or below the poverty line. Unemployment among youth remains high, and government handouts are essential to keep the population quiet. Saudi Arabia has no income tax because Aramco funds the entire state. But what happens when the oil runs out? Or the price collapses? The royal family's wealth is not just obscene, it's fragile. Chapter 7. Secret Allies and Silent Enemies. Publicly, Saudi Arabia has long been the guardian of Islam, opposing Israel and the West. But behind the scenes, alliances are shifting. In recent years, Saudi and Israeli intelligence have quietly cooperated against their mutual enemy. Iran leaked emails show years of collaboration. Rumors swirl of normalization deals in the making. The Saudis have invested in Western tech companies like Twitter, Uber, and SoftBank. They own English football clubs, Hollywood production companies, and even esports teams. Critics call it sports washing, using entertainment to distract from human rights abuses. Supporters call it modernization, but make no mistake, every dollar is strategic. This is not a nation. It's a global player wearing a royal mask. Chapter 8. Reforms or Reinvention. Under MBS, Saudi Arabia is transforming, or so it seems. Women can now drive. Tourism is encouraged. Concerts and movie theaters, once forbidden, are back. Kingdom is building Naom, a $500 billion futuristic city in the desert, with robots, flying taxis, and artificial intelligence. But this is not freedom. It's image control. Critics vanish. Bloggers are jailed. Women's rights activists are tortured. The state controls religion, media, and the internet. Vision 2030 isn't just a plan. It's a script, and every citizen must play their part. Will the house survive? The House of Saud has ruled for nearly 300 years. They've outlasted empires, revolutions, and oil shocks. But the 21st century is different. Global oil demand is falling. Regional rivals like Iran and Turkey are rising. And dissent can now spread with a tweet. As the sands shift beneath them, one question remains. Can a dynasty built on secrecy, oil, and fear survive the storm of truth? Subscribe to Dynasty Chronicles and uncover the legacies they don't want you to remember.